Hey guys, it's Charlie here, and if you guys are in your 20s and you want to be really rich, you're gonna want to watch this video because we're gonna go over 7 things that you absolutely must be doing in your 20s in order to see success. If you miss just one of these things, it's drastically going to increase the amount of time it takes you to accumulate a net worth of $1 million or more. And how do I know these things? Well, I'm a self-made millionaire in my 30s, and these are the things that I did to be able to become a millionaire by the age of 28. So without further ado, let's get started with the video. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is you need to talk about money a lot. If you're trying to become a millionaire, well, what does that mean? That means you have a net worth of $1 million. And when we're talking about a net worth, we're talking about money. So if you want to accumulate a lot of money, you need to actively be talking about it to your friends, to your family, to your significant other, and especially to yourself. The importance of financial education is just so big. I cannot stress that enough. And I think that mistake that a lot of people make is they just don't want to talk about money. If you don't talk a lot about something, you're never going to succeed in it. I don't care about whether or not you think talking about money is dumb. If you want to have a lot of money, you're gonna have to become an expert in it. So understanding how money works in the economy, understanding how the exchange of value equals wealth, learning about investing in stocks, real estate, crypto, whatever other assets, and also understanding the current events that are happening in the world when it relates to the economy. By staying on top of things, that's really going to help you out on your wealth journey. Yeah, please guys, let's remove the taboo of talking about money, income, all that stuff. Let's make it a lot more normal. And I guarantee you, if you spend, let's say 30 minutes per day talking about money with yourself or other people, you're gonna build a way better foundation that's going to allow you to accumulate wealth. So yeah, really, money should be at the forefront of your mind a good amount of the time. I'm not saying only spend your life thinking about money, talking about money. That's gonna be pretty lame, but definitely make it a consistent topic that you are both talking about as well as learning about every single day. I did this in my 20s. I was always thinking about money, how to make more money, investing, all that stuff. And that is a crucial reason why I was able to become a millionaire in my late 20s. Let's make talking about money cool again. So the next concept that you must understand as well as put into action is mastering leverage. Here is what I mean by that. In life, you're by yourself and you have 24 hours in a day. You spend 8 hours a day sleeping. The other 16 hours, you can do various activities, hang out, make money, whatever it is. Without leverage, we can't really do that much stuff, right? We're limited by our own time as well as our own knowledge and skills. However, when you start utilizing leverage, that's when things get really interesting. Leverage can be talked about both in terms of your workforce, so people on your team that are helping you build your business, as well as leveraging technology, the internet, and other resources like that. When you combine these two things, you get something that's incredibly good at making money. So yeah, if you're in your 20s, especially in your early 20s, you're probably just starting to earn money, and this is a time when you're really going to have to learn a lot of skills. Do things yourself, learn how things are done, and slowly get better and better that way. At some point though, you're going to really have to lean into the whole concept of leverage. You'll want to master how to actually build a team. So this is a group of people that are working within your business, helping it run 24/7. I really learned about this in one of my favorite books, Who Not How. That book really reinforced the idea that I need to start building a team and I can't be a solopreneur for the rest of my life. And then 2 is leveraging resources like the internet, AI, whatever it is. For example, the internet allows you to reach billions of people all from the comfort of your own home. If you start a business that is leveraged through the internet, you can reach way more people. You can make money 24/7 instead of just 8 hours per day, and hence you can make way more money. Same thing with AI, right? If you leverage AI technology in your business, you'll be able to move way faster. And yeah, that's one of my favorite quotes: success loves speed. And no matter what age you are, you really want to explore this concept and you really want to start putting it into use. Another thing you can leverage is time and compounding growth. The way that I do that is by investing in long-term stocks using Moomoo. This is one of the best things you can do in your 20s because the earlier you invest, the greater your eventual returns will be. I like to think about Warren Buffett's investing principle of buying undervalued stocks and letting them appreciate, which can be difficult for newer investors because it's not just about a stock's price per share. I have Moomoo pulled up right here, and for example, let's compare Nvidia's price per share of $420 to ARM's price of $53.29. On the surface, ARM looks cheaper, but if we look at their PE ratios, there's a different story. Basically, PE is a metric that relates a company's stock price to its earnings potential. For example, Nvidia's PE ratio right now is 101.66, while ARM's PE ratio is 135.78. And this basically just means that Nvidia is a more potentially undervalued stock with greater investing potential. That's why I always use this before I invest in a company. Being able to analyze important metrics such as company financials, PE ratio, and more is such a game changer. So yeah, I highly recommend using Moomoo for new investors because they offer 16 free stocks to get you started investing at no cost. I do want to thank Moomoo for sponsoring this video. And yeah, make sure to use the exclusive link down below to take advantage of their free stocks offer. And now back to the video. All right, the next big thing you need to do in your 20s is to network intentionally. I cannot stress how important it is to be surrounded by people who are also trying to achieve the same goals as you. When I was in college and after college, I was only surrounded by other friends who had really great paying W-2 jobs. I wasn't in the position to really want that, so I always felt sort of out of place. I didn't really have any entrepreneur friends, and as a result, I really think that made me move a lot slower in my entrepreneurial journey. If you want to be rich, you need to surround yourself with other people that are also trying to get rich. I'm not saying all your friends should be, people chasing money, but you do need to be around those types of people. This sort of brings us back to the first concept of talking about money all the time. If you're around other people that have a similar mindset to you, that want to be successful in terms of, money, business, stuff like that, then making friends with these types of people, it's going to be one of the most important things you do. And so yeah, be intentional with who you surround yourself with. Try to go to more events where these types of people are. And I guarantee you the amount of things that you'll learn from talking to people with a similar goal and drive as you, it's going to be an absolute game changer. It's going to change the trajectory of your life. So yeah, go outside, go find other people who will become millionaires in the future. Be friends with them, mastermind with them, talk business and money with them. In your growth path, it's going to skyrocket. Okay, the next thing you need to be doing in your 20s is learning skills. We sort of touched upon this earlier, but I cannot stress the importance of building your skills in your 20s. For most people, the first 5 years of your 20s, it's not a time to go out and make millions of dollars. Instead, the best use of your time in your early 20s is to actually do a lot of things and learn a lot of skills. By the time you're 25, or let's just say 5 years from now, if you learn skills consistently, you're gonna become an absolute beast. And so what I recommend doing is spend at least 10 hours per week reading or listening to podcasts. This is actually extremely easy to do. If you guys hit the gym, just listen to a podcast. When you wake up, read for maybe 20 minutes. If you're driving, just put on a podcast. And yeah, you'll be surprised at how much actual downtime you have in a week. And so if you just start filling that empty space with, podcasts or reading or whatever, you're gonna 5x the amount of information that gets stored into your brain. For me, I've been really curious and interested in building up skills for my entire life. I'd say that I've pretty much tried everything. I'm not an expert at just one single thing, but I really have built up a pretty solid catalog of skills. And that's a huge reason why I was able to create a high income for myself. A really easy way to learn skills is to just try doing businesses. We'll talk about that in the next point. But also, you guys are already doing it, right? You're watching YouTube and you're learning new things. The best thing you guys can do if you watch a lot of YouTube is watch YouTube in the morning and actually take action on those things you learned in the afternoon. That's the second part of the formula that a lot of people sort of skip. A lot of people think, why do I need to build skills if I can just hire other people to do things for me? And yes, while that is true, learning skills actually allows you to identify more opportunities. And really, the more opportunities you find and take action on, the more your net worth and income is going to increase. I pretty much guarantee it. Okay, so then that brings us to the next point, which is you need to start and fail at least 5 businesses. Over the next 5 to 10 years, I want you guys to try a lot of things. I want you to try things without the fear of failing, and instead thinking, okay, if I fail at this thing, I actually learn valuable lessons and I won't make these same mistakes later on. If you make it a point to actually start and fail at least 5 businesses in your 20s, then your 30s are going to be unstoppable. For me, I've failed dozens and dozens of businesses in my life. I actually didn't see my first real success until I was, I think, 27, 28 years old. And so yeah, this really is the story of my life. I spent my 20s starting and failing different businesses. And while that was, sort of embarrassing when it came to being around my parents, at the same time, I was learning so much and I really just was shooting my shot, right? If you shoot your shot enough times, you will win. And so yeah, if you guys have been, interested in starting your own business, or you want to start investing, but you're scared of actually failing or losing money, I just want to tell you guys, it's okay to fail. I think it's cool to fail. When I think about people's failed businesses or failed ventures, I actually am really inspired by that. And so yeah, think of it as being cool to fail things. So yeah, pretty much the summary is go outside, start your business, don't care about failing. If it fails, that's okay. Take the lessons you learn and start a new business. Do this enough times and you will hit the jackpot. Okay, the next concept is really important and something that not a lot of people talk about. You need to find a way to spend 80% of your time doing things that don't guarantee income. Basically, another way of saying this is you want to spend 20% of your time trading your time for money and 80% of your time taking risks on things that have no guaranteed outcome. Now, if you're 20 years old, you'll spend most of the day trading your time for money, which I think is great. And then over time, that's sort of going to flip and you'll be doing more things that could definitely fail and don't have a guaranteed monetary outcome. So yeah, in my early 20s, I was doing a lot of time trading. I would tutor, I would do photography, photography, video, all that stuff. And I was basically trading my time for money. Now I picked high value skills to, use my time on. And that's really how I was able to survive in my 20s in Los Angeles by myself. But over time, I started doing more and more risky projects, such as Amazon FBA. With that, you don't know if your inventory is going to sell. You don't know if you're going to make money. I started a blog. I started a marketing business. All these things, you're investing time and money into it, but there is no guaranteed outcome. Same thing with my YouTube channel, right? If I had not invested all this time and energy into making videos, I wouldn't be where I am today. And at that time, I was not making any money from this channel. This is just another way of saying take more risks as you get older. I understand it can be very hard if you start growing a family or you have other things that you need to pay and bills and things, but that's why starting this as early as you can is so important. And if you're wondering why this is important, well, 80% of your time doing things that don't have guarantees, that's where you can basically hit the jackpot. That's where you can create a multi-million-dollar business. That's how you can start making 6 figures per month. That's how you can start building passive income. So yeah, please, please, please start taking more risks, start doing more things that don't equate to X dollars per hour. And then number 7 is to get strong. Yes, I said it, get strong. If you don't hit the gym and work on your fitness, you're putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. I spent my 20s going to the gym almost every single day. I really prioritized weightlifting, cardio, and playing sports. The one thing I didn't do well at was stretching. That's a big regret I have. So yeah, if you're in your 20s, start stretching. But yeah, hitting the gym, this is the least direct thing on this list that applies to making money. But at the same time, I think it's so important. You want to view your body sort of like a machine. And when that machine is strong, it's used to pushing itself, it isn't afraid of pain and suffering, well, then the mind also follows suit. And when your mind follows suit, that's when you can start putting in the long hours. That's when you can start taking more risks. That's when you can start being unafraid of failing. Plus, I really think that how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're treating your body like crap, you're not exercising, you're not eating well, then it's going to effectively lower your strength in every other aspect of your life. It also builds your confidence. It gives you something to do for 1 to 2 hours per day. It allows you to get into the whole self-improvement mindset. And yeah, without a doubt, working out in my 20s, it's been one of my favorite things. I cannot imagine my life without it. Plus, I've made so many great friends. I've gotten so many great business opportunities just from the people I meet at the gym. And yeah, it's just something that I plan on doing for the rest of my life consistently. A strong body is one thing that money can't really buy, unless I guess you do steroids. But come on, if you're rich and you are in shape, that's just such a killer combo. And those are the types of people that really, really impress me. So go join a gym. It costs $20, $30 for most gym memberships. Make it a consistent habit within your daily routine. And yeah, just fall in love with making your body the best body it can be. So yeah, those are 7 things that you guys need to do in your 20s if you want to live a financially successful life. Even if you're not in your 20s, if you're older, if you're younger, know that these concepts apply to whatever age you are. And just know that the most important thing you guys do is to start and take action today. Again, every one of these things is something that I did in my 20s, and every single one contributed significantly to where my life is today. That's why I'm so passionate about this stuff, and I just want to make content that can sort of inspire you guys to live the life you want, because really I know it is possible. All right, that's it for this video. I really, really hope you guys got some good value from it. And if you did, make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe for more content just like this. I make a ton of videos about personal finance, entrepreneurship, and investing. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.